Hey, what is going on, guys? Thanks for checking out this video, my sports Gematria. In this video, I'm going to go over the UFC event for Saturday, July 10th, 2021. I'm going to show you some highlights of each fight, and then it's going to be up to you to determine who you think will win based on the numbers. I encourage you to add additional information on top of this if needed for you to feel confident in your own pick. And if for some reason you're curious to know who I'm picking in these fights, you'll have to join my Patreon. My picks are always in writing, underlined, and italicized. For more information on that, please read the description of this video. I wish you guys the best of luck in your picks today. Let's go ahead and get to the fights. We're going to be looking at UFC 264. This is a trilogy event. We're going to be doing all 5 of the main pay-per-view card fights. So Dustin, Connor, Gilbert, Burns, Stephen Thomas, Ty, Gray, Yana, Irene, Sean, Chris. Let's go ahead and look at those fights. On this side of the screen is what I call my daily numbers, date numerology, Gregorian Hebrew calendar. This side of the screen is what I call my game numbers. And the way this is structured, up top here is the event name. It's 264. I have 264 written out. The Gematria for that. The location, T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada. Right here is the class of the fight. This is a bantamweight fight. Bantamweight for this particular one. So I have one fighter right here, his name Gematria, his distance to and from his birthday, his fight record, any type of winning or losing streak that he's on, and then his UFC record. In the middle here is the head-to-head between the two, the Gematria of their last names. And then at the bottom is the other fighter, his name Gematria, birthday, fight record, any type of winning, losing streak, and then his UFC record. So let's look at the first fight here. We got Sean O'Malley versus Chris Mountaineau. I guess Chris was a last-minute replacement. Sean was supposed to fight somebody else. But Chris Mountaineau is getting his UFC debut. This is his first fight. But out of all 5 fights on the card, Sean O'Malley is the biggest favorite. If we look at the card here, we see it's relatively pretty even for the main event, the co-main event, and these other fights are fairly even, as far as odds go for fighting. But Sean O'Malley and Chris Mountaineau, Sean O'Malley is a minus 800, Chris is a plus 550. So it's the biggest lopsided odds, while everything else is relatively close to even, not quite, but close, pretty close. A lot closer than what you normally get with fights. But should make it for an interesting card. So Shane O'Malley is a huge favorite, and I can see why with the numbers. Chris Mountaineau, this is his 14th fight, but it's also going to be his first UFC fight. 14-1, 14-1, kind of like 141. If Sean O'Malley wins this fight, he becomes 14-1 for his fighting career, like 141. Chris Mountaineau would become 9-5 for his career with the loss. If you write out 95, it also sums to 141. And 141 sums to 260. And on the 260th day of Sean O'Malley's age, he could become 14-1, as his opponent becomes 9-5. 95 sums to 141, and his 14th fight, his first UFC fight. 22 date numerology on the Gregorian. Sean can get his second win in a row as he ends Chris's 2-fight win streak, 2-2, like 22. I think that's about it. 106, or a total span of 107 days till Sean's next birthday. This being July 10th, 10/7, or 7/10, however you want to look at it. But with Sean being such a massive favorite, and with the 141s just kind of sticking out to me, I feel like Sean O'Malley will probably just go ahead and take it. I don't see why not. The one thing that would trip me up, though, for this particular fight if Chris was going to upset here, and it would be a pretty big upset. It'd be the biggest upset of the night, um, based off the odds. Is there anybody else maybe in the prelims that are that big? No, nobody even in the prelims or the early prelims. So if Chris upsets Sean, it would be the biggest upset by far of the entire night at a plus 550. And one number that could help with that would be it being Sean O'Malley's 15th fight for his career, and it also being his 7th UFC fight, like 157. 157 is the 37th prime number. And if you write out 37, it sums to 132. And that's exactly what his record could be. Sean O'Malley could be 13-2 with a loss in his 15th fight, his 7th UFC fight. 157, the 37th prime. 37 written out sums to 132. He could become 132. He could also fall and become 4 or 5-2 for a UFC record, like 52. This fight taking place inside T-Mobile Arena, which sums to 52. So you can make a case against Sean O'Malley. I wouldn't maybe sprinkle a little money on Chris. I mean, it is a huge, huge underdog. I highly doubt it would happen. I like the 141s. Seems way more straightforward. But, you know, there's that 132 there. 15-7, 37. There is the 52. He can become 5-2 UFC inside T-Mobile Arena, 52. 52. 52 sums to 38. There is 38 date numerology on the Gregorian, so that could support it. 52. So there are some numbers here for potential biggest upset of the night is what it would be. Anything else here I can talk about? I mean, with Chris, this being his debut, UFC debut, it would be one hell of an upset in his debut. Sean O'Malley sums to 58. Today does have 58 date numerology. But 38 also sums to 58. And that could be a problem when it comes to that 5-2. But that's all I have here for right now for the Shane O'Malley, Chris Martino fights. Let's go on to the next one. Irene Aldana versus Yana Konotskaya. Wow, this has some interesting numbers. Irene Aldana is a slight favorite in this fight. And today does have 13 date numerology on the Gregorian. She can get her 13th win for her career on the 107th day of her current age. It is July 10th, written 7/10 or 10/7 with 13 date numerology. On the 107th day of her age, she can get her 13th win. Goes with date numerology. Las Vegas, Nevada sums to 43. And Yana can become 4-3 for a UFC record with the loss. She can also become, or she can also sit on 14 wins for her career as she becomes 4-3 for a UFC record in Las Vegas, Nevada. Las Vegas, Nevada sums to 43, the 14th prime. She can sit on 14 wins for her career as she becomes 4-3 for a UFC record, 43 the 14th prime. It's a possibility. Aldana versus Konotskaya sums to 53, which is the 16th prime number. Irene Aldana can become 13-6 for a record. 13-6 is the 16th triangular number. 53 is the 16th prime number. And it's the 107th day of her 33-year-old age. And 16 sums to 33. So on the 107th day of her age, which is July 10th, written 10/7, 33-year-old age, she could become 13-6. Today has 13 date numerology. Aldana versus Contiana, 53, the 16th prime, 13/6, the 16th triangular. The number 16 sums to 33. She's currently 33 years old. That would be the look for Irene. But Aldana versus Kanetskia with that 53. For Yana Kanetskia, it's the 241st day, or it's 241, or total span of 242 days since her 31st birthday. 241 is the 53rd prime number, and the number 31 sums to 53. And a turn of events, Irene Aldana can lose and become 12-7 for a fight record in her career against a 31-year-old. 12-7, as you can probably guess, is the 31st prime number. This is Yana's 21st fight for her career. This is her 7th UFC fight. 217, 21-7 is just an anagram of 127. And today does have 58 date numerology on the Gregorian. 58 sums to 155. It's a day leaving 58 left on the Hebrew civil. Again, 58 sums to 155. And Yana could become 15-5 for a fight record in her career with a win. We mentioned this in the last fight. T-Mobile Arena sums to 52. Yana could become 5-2 for a UFC record. It also sums to 115, and the number 58 sums to 115 and 155. Maybe in T-Mobile Arena 155. Yana can get the upset and become 15-5 for a UFC record with a win. So this 53 here for Aldana versus Kontaskania, it goes either way. 53, the 16th prime, Irene Aldana can become 13-6, the 16th triangular, or 241 days since Yana's 31st birthday, 241, the 53rd prime, 31 sums to 53. Irene can become 12-7, which is the 31st prime number, as Yana becomes 15-5, 58 sums to 155, 58 date numerology. Tuivasa versus Greg Hardy. I didn't see a whole lot of numbers for Greg Hardy. It's more of a either or scenario. Basically, this fight taking place in Las Vegas, Nevada, which sums to 133 and 83. Ty can become 13-3 like 133, or Greg Hardy become 8-3 like 83. Goes either way. I'm not a big fan of the 13-3 connections. Heavyweight sums to 133, Las Vegas, Nevada 133. I've seen something like this, 133, heavyweight 133, not transpire. I've seen it happen more than one time, not transpire. Usually when I see this type of connection, Las Vegas 133, heavyweight 133, and the fighter can become 13-3, I tend to pick against it. But for this particular scenario, it's a little bit harder to pick against it, just because Las Vegas, Nevada also sums to 83, and Greg Hardy can become 8-3. So basically, either way, I'm picking either the 133 or the 83. Both numbers show up in the same phrase, so I'm picking it either way. But then at the same time, this fight is taking place in T-Mobile Arena, which sums to 74. And Greg Hardy can become 7-4 with a loss. So Greg Hardy's record, 8-3 or 7-4, it's tricky because, again, Las Vegas, Nevada sums to 83, the 23rd prime. Las Vegas sums to 23. But T-Mobile Arena sums to 74. He could become 7-4. Goes either way. One thing that I like about Ty, though, even though Las Vegas, Nevada sums to 133, heavyweight sums to 133, I'm not a big fan of this idea of 13 and 3. I've picked against it and was successful with it in the past a couple of times. But in this case, in this scenario, I'm more focusing on the 13 than I am on the 13 and 3, just because today does have 13 date numerology. 13 sums to 117, and it's the 117th day of Ty's current 28-year-old age. 13 sums to 117. He can get his 13th win for his career. The reason why the 28 is important is because it is July 10th, written 10/7, which is the 28th prime number. Currently 28 years old. Also, this is his 16th fight for his career, and it's his 9th UFC fight. 16-9. 16-9 has a square root of 13. So there's a little bit of a 13 pattern here for Ty that I'm kind of digging a little bit. But at the same time, we've talked about this number 3 times now. T-Mobile Arena sums to 52. How this can play against Ty would be 52 sums to 124, and he could become 12 and 4 for a fight record in his career with the loss. So that's why I don't really have anything marked for Greg Hardy down here, just because the 83 and the 74 is interchangeable. Las Vegas, Nevada, 83, T-Mobile Arena, 74. It's interchangeable, goes either way. I kind of like the idea of Ty, his name sums to 33. He can get his 3rd win in a row for his career, as he sits on 3 losses as well as 3 UFC losses. I kind of like that. But my main focus for Ty is the 13, sums to 117, and that's the 117th day of his age. 16th fight, 9th UFC, 169, has a square root of 13. That's where most of my focus is. Because I think I'll drive myself crazy trying to figure out the 7-4 and the 8-3 side. It goes either way. Doesn't have to be either or. In a sense that you can find connections for 74, you can find connections for 83. It goes either way. Tuivasa versus Hardy sums to 55. Maybe Ty sits on 5 UFC wins as Greg Hardy gets his 5th UFC win. Maybe that's a thing. Also, I want to point out is this is his 9th UFC fight, Ty, and this is Greg Hardy's 9th UFC fight. Greg has a no contest in his record. So technically, I guess it should be his 8th UFC fight and his 11th fight for his career, but he has a 1 no contest, and so that's why I count it 9 and 12. But the number 13 sums to 117, but it also sums to 99. Emphasis on it being both these fighters' 9th UFC fight, 1399. So Gilbert Burns and Stephen Thompson. Gilbert Burns comes into this fight with a 19 and 4 record. It is the 119th day on the Hebrew religious. 119 sums to 194. That's his record coming into this fight. 194. He's actually lucky it's not the 112th day on the Hebrew religious, because 112 sums to 195. Gilbert Burns can become 19 and 5 for a fight record with a loss. But as I say that, you have to recognize that Stephen Thompson, he was born on February the 11th, 2/11 or 11/2. So that could not be good news for Gilbert Burns, maybe, I don't know. But Gilbert Burns does have some interesting numbers for an upset. He can get his 20th win for his career on July 10th, 7/10 or 10/7. The number 20 sums to 107. He can get his 20th win for his career. Stephen Thompson, This is his 22nd fight, and he can become 16-5-1 for his career with a loss. I'm mainly focused on the 16-5 just because 22 sums to 165. And then at the same time, today does have 58 date numerology on the Gregorian. It's a day leaving 58 left on the Hebrew Civil. Today has 38 date numerology on the Gregorian. 38 sums to 58. If we write out 58, sums to 115. And Stephen Thompson can become 11-5-1 for a UFC fight record with the loss. Emphasis on the 11-5 part. I know he has that one draw at the end of that record, but you can have that 16-5, 22 sums to 165 as it becomes 11-5, 58 sums to 115. And that would be all she wrote for Stephen Thompson. You can even say, with it being 38 date numerology on the Gregorian, 38 sums to 149. It's 149 days since his 38th birthday. Maybe that contributes. 58 sums to 115. Maybe that can contribute to that 1151 and that 16-5. But with that being said, Stephen Thompson could win and become 17-4-1 for a fight record for his career. 17-4-1 is the 271st prime number. 271 is the 58th prime number. And so 38 sums to 58 and 149, maybe 149 days since his 38th birthday, he becomes 17-4-1, which mathematically breaks down to the number 58. He would get his 17th win for his career in his 17th UFC fight, this being Gilbert Burns' 17th UFC fight. I can go that way. So a little tricky here with the Stephen Thompson, Gilbert Burns. Also wanted to note that Gilbert Burns, he was born on 7/20 or 20/7, and his opponent is Stephen Thompson, which is 207. Stephen Thompson also sums to 72, and this is Gilbert Burns' 24th fight, his 17th UFC fight. 24-17 is the 359th prime, 359 is the 72nd prime. So interesting numbers there. But T-Mobile Arena sums to 115. Stephen Thompson can become 11-5-1 for a UFC record with the loss. Today does have 58 date numerology, a day leaving 58 left on the Hebrew. 58 sums to 115. 22 date numerology on the Gregorian, 22 sums to 165. This is Stephen Thompson's 22nd fight. He can become 16-5-1 for a fight record with the loss as it becomes 11-5-1. Or 149 days since his 38th birthday, well, 38 sums to 149 and 58. It could become 17-41, which mathematically breaks down to 58. And then we got the main event, Dustin Poirier versus, I'm so sorry, I butchered these guys' names, versus Conor McGregor. A trilogy matchup. So for Conor McGregor, his name, Conor McGregor, sums to 79, the 22nd prime number. He comes into this fight sitting on 22 wins for his career. Today is a day with 22 date numerology on the Gregorian. I can't say that's the best of look for him. But I can say that today does have 38 date numerology as well. And Conor McGregor can get his 23rd win for his career. 23 sums to 163, which is the 38th prime number. So if Conor McGregor is going to win, I am going to imagine it's because of that. The 23 sums to 163, the 38th prime. It is 361 days since his birthday. 361 is just a reflection of 163. 163 is the 38th prime number. the word 23 sums to 163. He can get his 23rd win, 361 days since his 32nd birthday. Dustin Poirier, he could become 27-7 for a fight record with the loss. 277 is the 59th prime number. Even though today has 58 date numerology on the Gregorian, tomorrow is going to have 59 date numerology. And who knows how late this fight will take place. Maybe this fight ends around midnight, heading into the early hours of Sunday, which is going to have 59 date numerology. It could be slightly ahead. He could become 27-7, the 59th prime, with the loss. What else? What else? I think that's about it for Conor. 23, 277, 11-3, the 30th, 113. Let's see what 113 sums to. 99, 270, 207. We're about 30. I just didn't see a whole lot for Conor McGregor, really. The 79 and the 22 makes me a little bit nervous for him. This is his 28th fight for his career. Dustin can get his 28th win for his career. Today is July 10th, written 10/2 or 2/10, a day leaving 174 days left in the year. Dustin Poirier sums to 174, and he can get his 28th win for his career. 107 is the 28th prime number. This is Conor McGregor's 28th fight. So that could be in favor of Dustin. And on top of that, Dustin can get his 28th win for his career as he gets his 20th UFC win on top of that. And we know 20 sums to 107 as well as 28. And 107 is the 28th prime number. So on the 10th of July, 10/7, a day leaving 174 left, Dustin, which his name sums to 174, can get his 28th win. 107, the 28th prime, as he gets his 20th UFC win. The word 20 sums to 107. Both of these guys are 32 years old. Conor coming up on his 33rd birthday here. Maybe that's a reason for Dustin, 32-year-old, Conor, 32-year-old, Dustin get his third win in a row, and Conor gets his second loss in a row, like 32. That's a potential option. But outside of that, I didn't see a whole lot for Conor. And it could be sneaky with the 361 and the 23. But it could be this 28 and this 20 for Dustin. When I type out the word trilogy, it doesn't give me a whole lot to work with. It does have this 38 there, though. 38 date numerology. Maybe that can favor Conor McGregor, because 23, 163, the 38th prime. It's 361 days since his birthday, which is a reflection of 163. So if Conor McGregor's going to win, it's a little bit more subtle for him, I think. And if Dustin's going to win, it's that 28 for sure. It's that 20. It's the 3. It's the 2. It's Conor sitting on 22 wins for his career on a 22 date numerology. His name sums to 79, the 22nd prime. But he is approaching his 33rd birthday, so I'm not sure if that's going to mean anything or not. 4 days away from his 33rd birthday. 4 days from his 33rd birthday could mean he gets his 4th UFC loss for his career. It could just mean that. Or it means he sits on 3 for 33. Um, I think that's about it. Yeah, I'll call it there. If you guys have anything that I missed, I'm sure I've missed some stuff. Definitely don't hesitate to put it in the comments below. Add anything you want. I wish you guys the best luck on your picks, and we still have plenty of time to look this over. I'm going to continue to look this over. My final picks will be on my Patreon page in writing, but I'm going to continue to look this over the next 24, 48 hours and just see what else I can come up with. I really appreciate the support. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully this helps.